Welcome back to 420 Chief Podcast. Today's episode is one that truly speaks to the heart of what my platform, 420 Chief, is all about: healing, growth, and community. I'm honored to introduce you to someone whose story will not only inspire you, but remind you just how powerful connection and purpose can be. Jason, known to many as Appalachian Chillbilly, or even Team Utami Chong, is a former Army veteran who went from isolation and silence to becoming a vibrant force of support for so many other people. Through plant-based healing, Jason found his way back to himself. He reprogrammed his mind, healed his soul, and built a community rooted in love, compassion, and giving back. Whether he's growing food in his greenhouse to support his community, or flood victims, or sending teddy bears to children in hospitals, his energy is contagious, and you'll see that today. He creates a safe space for others, on his TikTok platform. His mission is clear and his heart is massive. So if you've ever wondered what it looks like to go from surviving to thriving, this is definitely the episode to you. With that said, I'm excited to introduce Appalachian Chillbilly. Welcome in, brother. Much love. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing much better now. I can't lie. I was so excited for this episode. I'm oftentimes, with what I'm talking about with veterans and the medicinal use of cannabis, they're very deep and dark episodes. But with you and your positive energy, I was like, you know what? This is going to be a rejuvenator of that breath of fresh air I think I really need. And I think so many others may need to hear for themselves. So I'm so honored and grateful just to even call you my brother and have you right here today.
As am I, bro.
Well, let's kick off. Let's let our listeners know a little bit more about you and your past. You want to start us off about just give us a little bit of the Chillbilly's background. You can start from childhood, you can start from military, whatever you'd like to talk about.
I got you. So I was pretty much raised by my dad from the age of 10. Did what every teenager does, just mischief and mayhem. And was at that crossroad to where something had to give. So I joined the Army thanks to the push from my brother in law, who's a Desert Storm veteran. And best thing I ever did because it gave me that structure that I was missing. Do this, then when, where, why, how, all that good stuff that you don't necessarily have as a teenager, especially from like the country where there's not much to do other than get in trouble.
Right.
Um,
Gives you some
so,
structure.
right. The judge didn't tell me army or jail like the old cliche, but it might have been coming. So
Right?
off to the army I went. Battled addiction before the army, through the army. Um, about left the planet a couple of times because of addiction, and decided that wasn't the life for me. So in 2005, uh, I left one addiction behind. In 2006, other than Lord's lettuce, I left all the other addictions behind, including drinking. I'm coming up on 20 years sober. So that's been a ride. Absolutely. That's definitely been a story. Um, when I was overseas, my kid's mother was also over there with me. We got pregnant in Iraq in 2005, excuse me, 2006. Early 2006, my wife got pregnant, got sent home. Uh, she went to buy a house while I was over there, and I stayed there. And the first like 5 or 6 months of her pregnancy, she was by herself, doing the getting the house, settling in the house. Lots of stress and stuff. And then I came home to being a brand new husband and a brand new house, which was kind of weird. Still wearing the mental of war that everybody knows how that goes. And then my children were born 2 months premature. So that kind of weighed on the anxiety on top. So, like, from childhood all the way to 25 years old, there was some kind of trauma that I can relate to She turned out to kind of not be the best mental stated person. So I've even kind of been like a DV survivor situation, which was kind of scary, but it helps you be able to help other people. So, like, I made it through that, so I don't ever regret it.
I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned from all of my trauma in life, no matter whether that was someone losing their life or a lost relationship. I learned from it, whether that was what I needed, what I wanted. Um, and I've been able to, I think that through those traumas, that helps us better help others through similar
Exactly.
situations. But more important than just telling people, how, it's being able to empathize and listen and really feel what they're going through in those situations. So, I
Yeah,
feel for you.
all too
Yeah,
often people's like, oh, I understand that, but they really don't. They know it's what you want to hear, but like when I say I understand that, it's because I do.
because
Be
you've
it
been through that, right? Yeah, exactly.
in a lot of areas also. It's not just like childhood or, adolescent teen mess, we all been there, done that. But like with the DV stuff and the PTSD stuff and the recovering from any type of substance abuse, be it alcohol or the harder evil stuff that shouldn't even be here. But yeah, I tell everybody I might still be young on age, but it's the miles that make up the difference.
Amen.
I got a
Amen.
lot of miles on it.
That I feel that, I started life as a man young. I moved out from my parents in with my grandparents for a short period, and then I bought my own house young, and I realized looking back that took away a lot of my childhood. It made me grow up a little faster than most, and that taught me a lot, though. That taught me how to handle situations. That taught me how to fix things and be dynamic. So I feel you. I really do. I feel you on that. So you covered a lot there. I'd like to go back a little bit and let's talk about how you were feeling and what you were going through at the time you came out of the army.
So the getting out of the army was kind of tough, circumstantially wise. We all moved back down here to the country, where the kids were premature. They went to Ohio with grandma, and my wife then come down here. We was moving in with my sister, to get a leg up and get going. But she had an old farmhouse, and they needed to do a bunch of remodeling. She got out before me. I got back down here, and that didn't happen. And my kids have been gone away for like 2, 3 months. I was ready to see my children because I am a father. Um, she was not. So then I loaded up the car with me and my sister, and we went after the kids. And Grandma had already got wind of it and tucked tail to another state. And from then, it kind of went downhill because I'd lost my kids. It caused me and their mother to separate. On top of the fact that I kind of got my life threatened a couple of times. So I ended up leaving her at my sister's house, which kind of a butthead move on the little brother to leave it to somebody else. But I had to get out of there because I didn't feel safe. And I moved into a camper at my dad's house and worked 3 jobs, and just tried to make it. Just digging. That was probably my rock bottom after the military, was living in a camper in my dad's yard. Back to being completely dependent. 25 years old, depending on a parent. Um, I had already recovered from the substances and stuff, so that was a plus. I had anxiety so bad that I honestly couldn't even really smoke. Um, I had to learn how to do small sessions in the right environment that really helped me. I met I met my second wife shortly after, which put me into the VA. Like it was the kick I needed. You know, we didn't work out and we wasn't meant to be because God had other plans. But whether it's life or just a season, everybody's there for a reason. And I think hers was honestly to get me into the VA system and start getting help and reconstructing my mind and my soul. Oh, appreciate you. Love you too. Sorry, I'm
So
fidgeting.
when you say, when did you start using cannabis?
So
You
I
said that
actually
you were
like
using
as
it and it started to give you anxiety, and that's something that, we've heard before, from a few
so
folks,
I
especially a
started
certain.
as a teenager, like you know, having fun, hanging out with your bros, and
Right.
cruising the river roads, and um, the anxiety from it started coming when life got real.
Yes.
With the premature twins, the new house, the new husband, the army life, the coming back from war, it was too much. It was absolutely too much. Uh, so I had to quit everything, like other than cigarettes. I've never. That's one thing I've not been able to kick is cigarette. Uh, but then, like life started settling down. I got into the VA. I started like trying their way. Before I knew it, I was on 9 medications and miserable and like mind going 4,700 different directions. And I was like, I'm going to try cannabis again and see if I can keep the panic attacks away. So I started looking into strains. I started noticing which ones give me more or less anxiety. I started realizing this one I might only be able to take a puff or two and feel great. This one I can hang out and work and do and go and feel amazing no matter what. So like I had to learn what worked best for me, but it got me off of 9 medications.
Holy
Uh,
smokes. That's
so
impressive.
to me,
And
that's everything.
that's huge, and, the very first veteran interview I ever did was my brother Scooter, who served with me in Kuwait overseas, and one of the things that he said was exactly what you're talking about, and wow, it's just when I hear of another veteran getting off of medications, I remember how I felt and who I was to other people when I was on them and what people are saying to me about, "You're not even yourself, man." And I remember doing a quick inventory and being like, "No, I'm not. I'm foggy. I've lost my wit. My sense of humor has disappeared. I don't even like me." And then it's like, "Holy shit." It really, for me, it made me start to really spiral down at a time that I was already at my bottom. It's like, how can this get any worse? And it so I that it just makes me so proud that you were able to find what works for you, and you hit it on the head when you said you found the strains that worked for me,
Right,
because so many people don't don't think about it like that. They don't know. They're not educated enough about it, and that's why it's important. I wrote a book, and I'm not even trying to push that right now. Strains for Pains. That I did because of me. I knew I found strains that did work. I found some that did give me that anxiety that you're talking about. And it would now I've learned how to control that much better, but I
right,
also, more importantly, know what to avoid because I documented it. And more than anything, I started really slow. Some people I'm like, start slow, and they're like, they'll hit it a bunch of times or hit a blinker. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. Just a
right.
little one. Start
Too much,
slow. Like
too
with any
much.
medication, that back off, like do it little by little. If that's not working, ease your way in. You're gonna know when it starts to work a little bit.
Right.
So thank you for talking about that. How did you keep track of what was working for you? And secondly, I would like to know how you consume. Was it topical? Was it smoking, vaping?
So
What?
I am a OG. I like my joints. How I got back into it, like we just now really in the last 4 years or so, have you really been able to be like, oh, let me try this or let me try that? Like my state's so far behind. Luckily, they're coming. They're coming. We're recreational. We're medical. We're allowed 4 plants, and there's still no stores yet. But I'm hoping this next governmental election that changes because we're only allowed to run 1 term here. So the guy that's keeping us held back has to be replaced in November, no matter what. So as long as we get a pro advocate, we're good.
I did
Um,
want Can I add to that? I did want people to know, and I see it all the time, whether it's talking about veteran mental health awareness, whether it's talking about the veteran suicide crisis, whether it's legalizing plant medicine for your state, cannabis, psychedelics, etc. I hear a lot of people talking about it like, what can we do about it? So what I've done, Chillbilly, is I actually put a link on my website. If you go to 420chief.net and go to my resource tab, under there, I made this easy. I put 2 separate links that you can find your state senator in any state and contact them about anything, and I even went as far as wrote a draft, like a sample letter, so you could tell your own story of healing through cannabis, but anybody can plagiarize this, reuse it for themselves, and send it automatically through these links on my website. That's how we make the change, by making
absolutely.
noise and reminding our Congress, our elected folks, that they work for us. Get to know some of us, get to know our stories. The only way they're going to do that is if we're talking to them, and they're going to hear us if enough of us are doing it. So, thank you for bringing that up as well, brother.
Absolutely. I have a saying: the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's what we say around here.
So, anyways, you're old school. You said you smoke. You like your joints. I'm with you on that. There's just something about it. I've noticed for me, if I'm smoking a joint, I can really tell it hits me so much faster. Like that's got to
Yeah,
be my go-to. Because
it's a
Sonny will ask
shotgun.
me all the time. She's like, because with the vape, I seem to do more of that.
Right.
But if I've got a good joint, then I really don't use it that often, just enough for my pain. And no, if
Exactly.
sorry, Nana, but if Nana's here and she's telling me she needs me to do this while I'm doing this for her already, and she's not ready for that, I'll break out the pipe or a joint, but real quick,
Right.
Nana, love you, but,
1 second. 1 second.
right, give me a Zen pin, yeah, that's my go-to as well. Um, so let me ask you, what did you consume it for? Like, what has cannabis helped you out with the most?
So I got several of those. First and foremost, I have 2 herniated discs, 2 bulging discs, and arthritis in my spine. And I've had that literally since I was 32 years old. I'm 42. So for 10 years, that's been keeping me off of that crazy opiate BS that we got going on in this country. Sometimes I have to step it up a little bit and use the concentrates in the wax form if I'm like super pain. But most of the time, either a couple of tokes off of a bowl or a couple of tokes off of a joint, and I'm like anti-inflammatory type, if you will. I can move around a little bit, get me through my day, but it also helps me get out of my head. If I stay on the sativa side of things, it helps motivate me to get up and get to work and go on about my life and not just sit around and be troubled by every little thing because that doesn't do anybody any good. But you just got to go, you know, put down everything and go get busy doing something you love to do. And before you know it, all those intrusives are gone and you're hyper focused on a mission and nothing can stop you if you do that. And I find the sativas work better for me. Um, the indicas slow my body down and wrench my mind. So it's like I want to sit down, but I can't. I think they call that ADHD.
Right.
The indicas don't work for me. They may also be where I drink a lot of coffee, which is upper, if you will, smoke cigarettes, which is supposedly a common side effect is energetic. I don't know. I've done both so long that I don't notice them, but that doesn't mean that my internals don't notice them. Diesel is actually what I grew last harvest. I did all 4 in diesel only. And let me tell you, this winter, I was probably the happiest going through winter that I've ever been because I had that nonstop pick me up of the good old sour D.
Yeah. I wanna talk about that a little bit because one of the things that you do on your TikTok channel, which if, anybody's interested, that's Appalachian Chillbilly. Just search for that on TikTok, and you'll definitely find them. 'Em. You'll know who it is when you see it. But one of the things that you're always doing on there that I love the most is you're out in your greenhouse and you're
Yes,
planting,
sir.
you're doing some gardening and helping people, giving them some tips and tricks on how to do that. And I love that, and we'll get there. But because of that, just made me curious. How long have you been growing your own medicine?
So we didn't get legalized until 2021. So I'm gonna say 2021.
Okay, great answer. Been growing. Um, I've gotta ask, what are some of your favorite strains that you have grown, and what do you use them for? This is one of the most common questions that I get asked, and you being a green thumb, a professional gardener, I am so excited to get your insight specifically on this.
So I have knowingly, again, we didn't know about names and all that. I live in the middle of nowhere. We're way behind times. You just went to go see your buddy and whatever you got, you got. Yeah, back in the day.
Right.
But since we've been able to purchase seeds and research and everything, I've grew probably 15 different strains. And amongst my favorites would be Bruce Banner,
Oh,
Ninja
wow.
Punch. Bruce Banner was the shit.
Yeah, I grew some Bruce Mazer. Good
Nice,
stuff.
nice. I got right now. I got Presidential OG going, and then I got two new ones that somebody on the East Coast of Virginia is working with genetics, and I love the names. One of them is called Virginia Roadkill.
Okay.
Uh, I'm not real sure what it's mixed with because I haven't, looked into it too far because it's brand new. And
Right.
the other one is my all time favorite because the name is very open to interpretation, and it's called Stripper Sweat.
Stripper sweat. That one's different.
It's either going to be sparkly and fruity or gutter.
It could go either way. It's kinda like that, Alaskan thunderfuck. Have you ever had that?
I have
That's
had it. I
sweet.
haven't had the pleasure of growing it yet. But yeah, the names are so weird. What they come up with, I'm here for it. But
And I've gotta point out one thing I noticed when I first started growing my first batch, I grew some sour diesel and I grew some Skywalker OG. And what I realized was, like, I bought the tent, I bought the lights, dude, I bought everything. I bought auto watering plants, I spent all my money, and I realized real quick, "Dude, you're out here every single day, you don't need all this stuff." Like, you could
uh,
do this, 'cause it's very therapeutic, man. You get into kind of a relationship, if you will, with your plants. Like, they speak to you at a point,
absolutely,
like, if they need some water, the leaves are gonna tell you, or a certain little bit of nutrient. If you pay attention to it and you're working with it every day, it's a back and forth relationship, and what I've come to find out is the best medicine I've ever consumed was the kind that I grew myself, and I found therapy in growing the dang thing, and that's not something I ever thought would happen. And I've gotta ask you, what got you into the greenhouse and growing produce?
so this old hillbilly that lives around here that I've known for 30 years talked me into completely digging up my backyard, which was like a golf course.
Oh,
In
no.
2020, yeah, the guy that owned this house before me had sod Bermuda grass outside. It was beautiful. This old dude talked me into tilling all that up and getting my CBD medical license to grow hemp. And
Okay, yeah.
I filled the backyard plumb full of hemp for 2 years. And the bottom kind of fell out of the CBD industry, you know, because everybody was doing it. The license was cheap, you know, so you wasn't making any money for what the time you had to do. It wasn't like cannabis, even though they're in the same family, they're not the same genus by no means.
No,
Uh,
and it's kind of a mess too how they do it, to my understanding. They come in and that stuff grows thick, like just thick bush, and then they come in and they harvest it, but they use the whole plant. They make all kinds of stuff out of it. Like I've seen people that make hemp wood floors.
yeah,
And I mean, it was at one point the largest commerce in America, but I digress.
right.
So you did that for
Thanks
a
to Eli
couple of years.
Whitley,
Yeah,
daggone cotton gin. But no, I did that for 2 years, and July of the second year, they allowed us 4 plants. And so I put my 4 plants out there, tagged and all, just like you're supposed to, and started there. And then when the bottom fell out of hemp, I knew that we were going to be in the industry at some point as far as cannabis goes and being able to cultivate and do all this. So I started like seeking out investors that might be interested in it the long haul. Like it's not going to be a fast return because we don't have licenses and stuff to do what we want to do yet.
right.
And I found one and only one. I've known him for the better part of 20 years. And he told me to find the greenhouse and he would buy it if I would use it until, don't let it sit there. Like
Right.
make sure
And
make sure you're doing something with it in the meantime. And I'm like, okay. I come up from the country. My grandparents had gardens. My mom and dad and my uncle. We had a mom and pop restaurant for 40 years. So like, I know and love my community with all my heart and soul. And most of them raised me as a small child. So I was like, how about we do produce and we just do it by donation? Like we get to eat, they get to eat. We can sell garden starts to kind of really make the money, and then the rest is just whatever. And ultimately, it was just my way to give back to the community that's literally supported my family for 40 years. We're
think
not there in the restaurant anymore, so like I want to, show some gratitude. But Hurricane Helene really put me in like Hurricane Helene sent me in a whirlwind. I was sitting up here for 12 days with no power. The cannabis was struggling because it was flower time. I met Jolly and I met Vibe and I met a bunch of you guys around the October time frame, and everybody was just doing all this great, amazing things. And I'm like, I could really help with this. I mean, I'm here anyway. I'm doing the work. Like I had my garden page on Facebook for 2 years, and I just never was invested in it the way that I should be in because it wasn't hitting my heart like the TikTok does. Like to only be in the TikTok world since October, I've met some absolutely amazing people, and it feels like we've known each other for 30 years. It's organic, it's easy. Uh, I mean, if I miss a day, I'm like, man, I missed y'all, and I mean that. Like, you become part of the daily routine, and then you go a day or two because of life. We all got to deal with something. You go a day or two, and you're like, man, I haven't heard from so and so. I wonder if they're okay. And they do me the same way. If it's like 12:15 and I haven't been live yet, I got at least one or two people that's like, "Are you okay, bro?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, life's life, and I'll be there when I can. Thank you for checking on me. I love you so big." And you don't get that here, like in the real world. People love on me, because I've been around forever. But as far as like laying it all out there, all heart and soul and telling everybody what's really going on. My local community could care less. I love them to death, but they just don't. They don't. I get more support from my TikTok family, and that's probably literally everybody that's in here right now. I get more love and support from you guys than I do my own blood, and that's real. Like
You
That,
hit
that
that so hard on the head, and there's so many things you have just said there, and I'm here to tell you, as 420 Chief, I don't know if many people in my hometown here where I'm at even have a clue who I am, aside from when my mom's here handing every single person, every clerk, every person on the sidewalk a sticker for 420 Chief, "That's my son." They don't know who the hell I am here. And
right,
even my hometown, nobody's really reached out. People don't give me likes, it's I found support and family through the TikTok application, and I took it a step further, and have met up with a lot of these people. I met a lot of them through Sunnyside's, platform, her Veteran Live. At first, I found Mr. Rob Hanks is in the same state as me, and he always did the bonfire, so I actually went and met up with him in real life and did that, and then I've attended 3 of Sunnyside's, veteran meetups so far, in 3 different states, and met Frizz is in here. He's one of my favorite virtual smoke buddies. We met in real life and really did that, And so
heck yeah.
I've used this application to find people like yourself who you, sir, caught my attention, and not just me, but everybody that I've talked to, anybody I've ever talked to about you, they love you. And you get that way by consistently demonstrating you have demonstrate love, sir. Like you are so giving in everything that you do, and it's so selfless that you're just amazing, and I wanna be a part of that. That's the kinda energy that I see and support. There's a lot of other creators out here that say they're doing things, and I just don't have that gut feeling, but when I see you, brother, I feel it, and I wanna be a part of that, and I wanna help that. Um, so let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that you do. You are so giving. Let's talk about, let's just start with the Bears for Children. You wanna talk a little bit about that and how you're supporting that?
Absolutely. So I met DJ and the Four Horsemen through North Carolina Relief. They were doing a toy drive for Christmas extravaganza, and they were doing heater funds and propane tank funds. And I met them through that, and I helped with that. I met a lot of these guys personally down there during the Christmas extravaganza. Again, we immediately just meshed so well together. It was just like we've always been around each other. And I needed a little kick in the butt, which that man right there gave to me. That just put that in the chat.
Yeah,
He's
Vibe's
the one
got
that got me.
amazing energy. He looks ornery, but he looks sweet at the end of the day, kinda like my scooter, like an ornery teenager, man, but with good energy.
He is for sure, and he's wide open. Like you ain't holding him down. He's gone. Ricochet Rabbit. You know, I need a
Squirrel.
little bit of that. Like he's the flip side of the coin. You know, you got to have a head and you got to have a tail. Uh, and we don't even tell each other like that. We call each other the donkeys on the Four Horsemen, but we don't say donkey one and donkey two. We say donkey one and donkey A. You know, so like there is no I'm before you. There is none of that, and I love
Right,
that.
love
Our
it.
whole family's that way. We walk beside of each other, not in front, not behind. Like we basically doing the combing the desert. You know, we all in a straight line, and we're just moving forward.
Well, you
And
all are
and
demonstrating support with everything that you do. You're demonstrating it. You're not just talking about it like so many others. When I see that and I see Vibe and I see you, and you guys have met in real life, haven't you? Some of the folks? Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah. I've met him and Bird and DJ and Jolly Green Giant, which produced Rob, the number four horseman, Uncle Jesse, just so many. Lovely Lotus. I've probably met around 20 or 25 people from TikTok in real life, and it's always been through some type of relief effort, which I absolutely love because at the end of the day, there's no one coming. Like the only people coming are us and
Amen.
and and all the family. Like the big guys, they're not coming. So I love that our family does that. And exactly, Scooter, shoulder to shoulder.
That reminds
And
me, though, for our veterans of service, we didn't always have the best leadership, but we did have that support from the guy to our left and our right, and that's why we were good at what we did, that's why we trained together and protected one another, and I love that you're finding that camaraderie within certain groups because there's all types of different energies out there. But I want to talk a little bit more. So the Bears for Children, you said the Four Horsemen, you and Vibrator are supporting that, and they are actually sending you guys some bears, right, to hand out to children in hospitals?
Yes, I have roughly, but I haven't took them out of the vacuum seal pack because they're sterilized and they've not been opened. But roughly anywhere between 100 and 200 that are fixing to go into Brenner's Children's Hospital in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I was a fan of them with the Christmas and the propane and the helping Appalachian brothers and sisters out. But when he hit that Bears for Children, that hit a special spot because my children were born 2 months premature. Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. They weighed 2 pounds and 3 pounds, and they
Wow.
weren't like fighting for their lives, but they were at the same time because they were so tiny.
They were
Uh,
working hard being so small.
right, and when he brought out the idea for the Bears for Children, I was like, how amazing it would have been. Like they're brand new. They don't know that they're getting a teddy bear, but that mom and dad knows that somebody out there gives a genuine crap about them. And I was hooked. As soon as he did the Bears for Children, I was like, yeah, I'm a family member of yours forever, bro. Like, we're going to push it till the wheels fall off.
And
And
how many
could not be
teddy
more
bears have
excited.
you all handed out to date, roughly, if you know? What's the last count you heard of, brother?
So I honestly think he's coming up on 1,000 teddy bears that's been donated just from the Amazon wish list. And he's working directly with Bears for Humanity. They have a Four Horsemen, a TikTok teddy bear that's it's like a Sherpa material. It's biodegradable. It's hyperallergenic. So like it can go in the hands of the sickest child, and we don't have to worry about it causing damage to their what they got going on. Like they're not. It's not going to make them worse.
Right.
And I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Just those 1,000 children, that's I love that you're doing that and why, I love that. Um,
Absolutely.
Now you'd mentioned earlier that you had the greenhouses set up and that was, temporary, right? So you said, "Let's grow some produce." And can you explain to our listeners exactly what you do with that and then how that you do your donations for that? And
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll cover that real quick.
So we got the greenhouses ultimately to be a Virginia licensed cultivator. Like that's what I want to do ultimately for the rest of my life is grow cannabis for the public, the whoever's licensed that I can, I don't drive to have a store or none of that. I love growing things. And while
And
we
you're good.
wait, I do pretty decent. I'm still learning. I'm no master gardener, but we are definitely learning every year, and the lives help me as much as I help other people learn what I know. Every once in a while, somebody comes through there and they're like, "Hey, this works really well," and I'm like, "You just taught me something." So I'm learning at the same time, which I absolutely love. But the greenhouses came about, ultimately to cultivate. But in the meantime, I want to grow produce and flowers. We do organic flowers where you pick your own bouquet. I hand you a vase filled with some tempered water and a pair of scissors, and you go out to the farm and you cut whatever flower you want, uh, minus the organic broccoli. You leave that flower alone. That's for medicine. But you can have any other flower on the farm and you put it in the vase and you leave me whatever donation you can afford. If it's nothing, it's nothing. Take your bouquet home. If it brings you a smile, that's payment enough. And I do my produce the same way. If you got $1 or $1 million, I treat the CEO the same as I treat the janitor. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's what your heart where your heart's at, where your mind's at, good morals. very few rules with Chillbilly. Uh, just make the world a better place, man. You know, back to that golden rule: treat others as you would have them treat you, and that's what I live by.
You're such an amazing individual, and I have a question for you that I'm sure a lot of others are thinking themselves. And I just saw one of your videos the other night. You mentioned you've got your gardening. I saw that you had planted 1,000 green beans, right? And there
Yep.
was just all this topsoil, and then it rained. Okay, and it was all wet and muddy. Well, you've
Uh,
got dogs. I think four dogs, 3 or 4,
sometimes five. Yeah.
sometimes
Sometimes
5.
five. Yeah.
But there
I
was some
have
dogs coming
three,
in.
and Queen Bee has two that come here. So every once in a while, there's five dogs here.
Oh my goodness. So,
Yeah,
but my
it's
point was,
fun
there was
time.
blood everywhere, and I can relate. I have 5 dogs here. I have my service animal Striker, I got baby Spike, and then my son's got I've got other dogs for my security and my kids and whatever. But they come in and it gets so muddy. My question for you though is, you've got such a big heart and you're so giving. How do you stay so positive all the time? Like, you were so calm in that video while these dogs are making a mess. I would have still, even Chill Chief, even with
Right.
my Zen pen, would have been like,
What's going on? Right.
"God, come on." How do you stay so positive? Or is this one of your tricks? Do you use cannabis to help you stay so
uh,
calm and collected and positive all the time? Like, we gotta know.
it most definitely helps. So like that's another whole prescription that it takes away is like I don't even know if we can like use names or whatever, but like one of my big ones is um yeah, it done went away, so I don't guess we can use the name.
Yeah, let's
But
not use
there,
the name.
yeah, there's one big antidepressant out there that I am very much against. And, it takes that place, and so it does keep you uplifted. But at the end of the day, I had this biker chick grandma that worked for my family in the restaurant that taught me many years ago that her saying when something bad would happen, she would say, "Would it matter in 100 years?"
Yeah. Wow.
And I would be like, "No." And she's like, "Why does it matter now?" So I I had that in my heart since I was probably like 15, and I live by that. Like you don't let the petty stuff bother you because all it's doing is hurting you, and then you're going to put that negativity out there, and you're going to end up hurting people that didn't make you bleed. And I don't like that.
No, and that takes so much daily practice, just like growing plants. It's so much easier said than done to do that, especially when it's people you already know. Maybe it's your family that's that energy to you. Maybe it's your friends and you haven't figured it out yet, but it's hard, especially when it's people close to you. Or maybe it's someone on an application that you've spent quite a bit of time with after hours trying to help them out, and they talk poorly of you, or they make up things. It's hard to keep calm and realize, you know what? This don't mean
Right.
nothing. And I think that the more that we practice that and just let it go, I've learned to not even mention them again. I mean, to me, that's the best, to be like, dang, let it go, gone. Like, I've got to cut that loose. And that means I can't respond. And sometimes we want to, and it's so hard. We want to be spicy,
Right.
But to me, the way I look at it, like you said, it's like our kids are watching us, and it's important how we react and how we respond, because we want to teach them to be good. And here I am all the time as a chief, lead with change right here on my shirt. I've got to be mindful of my responses. And I think that I want to ask you, how did you learn to become aware of your reactions and your responses before you had a poor one? I know that's difficult, a lot of times for us veterans, because we're programmed a certain way. Is that something you would like to talk about a little bit?
Absolutely. So I owe all the thanks for that to one person. And I don't even know where they currently are in life, in the world. like they lost their job position, whatever, in the VA and moved on to hopefully to greater things because they were absolutely amazing. But I had a coach or a sponsor or a mentor or whatever you want to call them was not a psychiatrist. All they want to do is push the medicine, you know. But this lady was kidnapped in the Cuban Missile Crisis thing, Panama, one of them two, while she was pregnant. She's an Air Force lady. And I went through 1 day a week for 2 years of cognitive therapy with somebody that had done been through all that. So, like, I could literally get all of it out with no judgment because he done been through way worse than anything I could ever fathom between childhood to today. Like, and she was happy go lucky, jolly hippie chick, you know, like no bothers. And I'm like, if she can flush all that, then I can flush everything I got. And we went through a cognitive therapy program. I was very slow. It was only supposed to take so long. It took me 2 years. But at the end of that, I had a booklet like 4 or 5 inches thick from early childhood trauma all the way to that present day that she pulled out, and we put it on paper. And once you pull it out, if you tell yourself it's gone, like you remove that, it's now on paper. I carried that around for years like a trophy, you know? And then one day I was like, why am I literally by definition carrying around this baggage of all this crap that I've been through in my life? When it's already out of here, I don't think about it anymore because I done processed it and moved on. I burnt it. And now it don't exist, period. Like it's gone. I lit that thing on fire and sat around with a J and said kumbaya, you know, like, and ain't never went back. And here we are. And that's been over 10 years ago.
Kumbaya, my thoughts. I love it. I am so proud of
Thank you,
you.
bud.
That takes so much work and commitment, and honesty with yourself. And that's what I tell everyone, man. You've got to be honest with yourself first, and so many people, they just hold it in and they don't talk about it. And that's why I get so grateful when I see people like yourself and you've got this energy. You carry yourself with a positive energy, one that makes me curious. I'm like, oh, I want to get to know him a little bit more. And I couldn't be happier right
Thank
now, just sitting here um, on this interview with you talking about this. Because this is exactly what we do to make a change is we talk about it, and we're doing it in a way that it's a platform for other veterans to see and understand that, a lot of the things that we do and go through are kind of normal, but we're not
right.
alone. There's others like us that can empathize, and it helps, like you had mentioned with your therapy, that you were talking to that person had been through so much and that you could empathize with that. And I think the more that we talk about it and the more of us that do it, it's not a
Right.
competition. It's we all have a story. And when we can learn to talk about it, that in itself helps us, but it helps other people as well. So I want to say thank you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for that.
Absolutely. That's kind of my mission. Like helping others helps me. It's kind of like planting. You know, the work is strenuous. It hurts my back. That's broken. But what you get out of it by putting your hands in that soil, like day before yesterday, Queen Bee had her little 5-year-old over, and her and I were planting tomatoes together, and we had the biggest time. That meant everything to me because that's a memory I get to keep forever. And I really feel that she had so much fun that even at 5 years old, I don't think she'll ever forget it. And we're going to keep doing it throughout her life too. And maybe that'll instill, like a good word. Maybe that'll instill some inspiration to her to want to grow and take care of her family and maybe the community too. Because, like you said, they're watching. So when I go set up on the street corner with big loads of produce, and the little senior citizens come up there and they're like, well, I only got $5, and I hand them Walmart grocery bags and say, get whatever that you'll use. Like, you're welcome to anything that you'll use, uh, and do what you can. I mean, that's all I ask for is do what you can, pay it forward. If you have $0 and you take 2 bags of produce, will you hand a couple of people some of the produce as you pass? Here, I got this for free from up there. Have you ate today? I love asking people if they've ate today, because I don't know about you. Sometimes I be getting busy and I forget. And then my body's like almost to shut down. And I'm like, oh, I haven't ate today. So, like, little simple stuff like that means everything to a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm like that a lot of days, brother. I got Sonny now who will text me and remind me I need to eat, and then I'll go eat a banana or something before I fall out. 'Cause we get bad about it.
Right.
But I love you so, big brother. I'm so grateful for you. And just hearing you talk about Queen Bee and the kids, I take away that's some of the things that you do to fill your cup. But can you give our listeners some other examples of things that you do to help keep you balanced and to bring yourself joy so that you can stay so positive?
Absolutely. So, one of the biggest things that I did to help me was get a dog, because their love is unconditional. If you've had a bad day, they're still having a great day. They're still going to lick you in the face. They're still going to jump up on you and give you a big old hug. They don't care if you're ugly crying or if you're hysterically laughing, or if you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off. They're still sitting there wagging their tail, smiling at you, excited when you show up. Uh, First and foremost, get a dog. And then, literally, like me personally, I just want to do good, period. Like, I wake up, and if I'm in a bad mood, or, there's some thoughts coming that I don't necessarily want to deal with that day, I'm like, nope, not today. I'm going to the greenhouse. I'm going to do planting. I'm going to do pruning. I'm going to harvest. I'm going to go to town. I'm going to find me an 80-year-old lady and hand her a tomato and tell her, have an amazing day. And that in itself makes my day better. And that's real. Like, that's where I'm at. All of you guys is what keeps me happy and motivated. And in Vibe's word, inspire. Vibe, you are inspiration, bro. I wouldn't be here without you. And that's real. I wouldn't be here without Chief. I remember the first live I come into, and he was shredding on the radio. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. And every second I can, I go in there. And I know here lately it ain't been much, but you guys are you're always on my mind and in my heart, bro. Always.
Well, that's amazing. And I think the last question that I have for you, um, for our veteran listeners out there that might be on the fence about trying out plant healing cannabis specifically, what advice would you give to them?
So, kind of to reiterate what you said earlier, first and foremost, you got to know yourself. So, are you one of those that, like, 'cause you face adversity in different ways? You either sat down and you do nothing and you just wallow in it, which is terrible for you. And in my personal opinion, you need you a couple of little bitties of a sativa to get you to moving, and do something that you love. It don't have to be to make money. It don't have to be a grand charity thing that costs you a big bunch of money. It goes back to getting a dog. Take you a couple of puffs and go out there and play fetch with that dog. That dog's going to love you for it, and you're going to have an amazing time. You're going to laugh because that dog's fixing to do something silly. Even if it's running away from you and you're trying to chase him down to get the ball, all that little stuff takes you out of here and into the present, and you're making good memories, and you're not focused on the yesterday, because we don't live there no more. You got to deal with today and try to plan for tomorrow. and literally forget about what happened yesterday because it don't matter no more. It's gone. And if you're one of them that already run out there and you're doing all kinds of crazy because that's what your mind's telling you, then hit that indica and enjoy being in the couch for a change because you got to rest. Your body needs rest. Your mind needs rest. You definitely will sleep better that way. I went from getting a choppy 4 hours to sleep for literally a decade. I'd sleep 2 hours, wake up, sleep 2 hours, wake up, and go on with my day. Now I sleep 8 hours, 9 hours. I wake up and take that old man bathroom break about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, because the bladder ain't what it once was. But other than that, like over these last 3 or 4 years with the gardening and the community getting built and giving back to the community here, over the last 3 or 4 years, I've done a complete turnaround in my personal feelings, in my sleep patterns. I still don't eat like I should, but I also live that if you're not hungry, there's no need in eating. Uh, keep obesity at bay. If I get hungry, I eat, but if I'm not, I'm not. Because we don't need all that. Just what you put out, that's what you need to take in. Try to stay healthy, but yeah, leading the way for others is huge.
Well, this has been, like I said at the beginning, you've got an energy that is just so contagious, and this has filled my cup for today. So I want to thank you so much for being on the show today and bringing that positive energy. And as we close out, where can people go to help out and support the mission? I did put a link to vrgraphicdesigns.printify.me, which I think is Vibrator's
Yes,
wife's.
yes.
Okay. And where can we go to help support you, Mr. Chillbilly?
So far, that is the one spot. He's helping me help him help me, if that makes sense. We're in it together. He's my little brother that I never had that I needed. You know, for the moment, they're coming out with new shirts all the time. One of them is the Chillbilly Pickles shirt, which says whatever tickles your pickle, and it looks like this guy, but he's a pickle. There's more coming. We're going to do some Chillbilly Vibes shirts. We're going to do some Appalachian Chillbilly shirts, some Timu Tommy shirts. Um, Soon, I will have like a link tree in my TikTok bio for maybe like a farm Amazon wish list to kind of help lighten the burden financially of growing 3,000 plus plants for the community. Um, but at the moment, the only thing I really ask for is likes and shares and comments and maybe help get the TikTok up to a monetized platform to where we can let applications take care of it and we don't burden our family with trying to pitch in. Like that's my ultimate goal. Let a program take care of it and it don't cost anybody anything. That
Love
that's
that.
where that's where I'm at.
Love it. Awesome. Did you have any closing words for our listeners today?
Oh no! So I know I didn't really keep up with Chad. I didn't really know how any of this worked. I wanted to more talk to you because you know that I feel that's kind of the meaning. I really seriously appreciate all y'all being here. I love all y'all so big. Uh, Most of y'all come through my lives on the regular. I really deeply appreciate all that. And just remember that all y'all are amazing. We all have purpose and keep putting one foot in front of the other. Don't ever give up.
And Pixie was asking about Bears for Children, which we did cover earlier on. How can people find more about Bears for
So
Children?
there's the four horsemen of TikTok. Each one of them four has the same link tree in their bio. But the big one is DJ, and his TikTok is actually four horsemen of TikTok. He has 195,000 followers. That way, you make sure you got the right four horsemen of TikTok. And right now, there's a link tree for Amazon wish list for teddy bear packages. You just pick out, pay for it, it ships it straight to him. he is now shipping them out to other people. Like I got mine in the mail. He's fixing to do 3 more people the same way. But soon there'll be like Bears for Humanity Way. There's monetary donations for them. It's all through the Four Horsemen of TikTok and their link tree. They definitely are honorable and do what they say and stand on business. And they have my full support until the wheels fall off on any mission they have, same as you do, and same as Sonny does, and anybody in our amazing family. I back you 1,000,000%.
Hey, man. Well, thank you so much for your story. And I just wanted to say from me to you, I'm so proud of you and I'm so grateful for having met your acquaintance. And I super look forward to meeting in person. You're definitely up there on my rotation list, somebody that I would like to meet and sit. And I feel comfortable having a joint with, you know?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah, I need to get to a meetup so I can meet you and Seal, and most importantly, the dog.
Oh, yeah, Striker and Spike will be there for sure. Sonny did want me to let you know that you absolutely are invited to the fourth Sunny Side of Freedom meetup. So as soon as she's got some dates locked down, we'll be sure to let you know exactly when that is. And I definitely look forward to meeting you at some point. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
close this out real quick, brother. So again, much love. Love your face so big, and I have been popping into the lives when I have time in
That's all
between,
right. I get it.
in between life.
I
So,
get it. I get
I
it,
feel
bro.
that. I do. Alright. Well, I'm gonna close this out. Just hang tight. Wow. So, Chillbilly's story is living proof that healing is possible, that purpose is powerful, and that one has to walk the path. If his journey moved you, imagine how many others it could reach. So please like this episode, drop some comments, not just in the chat, but in the video. Leave some comments, but most importantly, please share it out. Um, let's get this message in front of veterans and families who need it the most. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss another powerful conversation. And if you want to do even more to support the mission, head over to my website, 420chief.net, to check out how you can get involved, pick up some merch. So I've got Strains for Pains, my book on there that I mentioned earlier to document your journey. Looks like this. And some t-shirts as well that help support the mission. And the description to Appalachian Chillbilly to support him, those shirts will be in this video description. So please, together we break stigmas, together we heal. Lead the way. Lead with love. Lead with change. Chief out.